Hi all, welcome to BIAS Academy, Science and Technology audio notes for prelims and mains, Unit 5, Part 2 and Chapter 1, that is Sustainable Development, its possibilities and challenges, and the topics which we're going to cover are Sustainable Development and the brief history of Sustainable Development, what is Club of Rome, explain the report limits to the growth. After that, we'll look at international efforts to sustainability or to achieve sustainability. And then the last topic is world ethic of sustainability. So let's start with what is sustainable development. According to Brundtland report, that is Brundtland, B-R-U-N-D-T-L-A-N-D, Brundtland report, sustainable development can be defined as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. The picture on the right hand side of the screen, the person giving the leaf to you explains the definition. That is, the sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Okay. The first references to sustainable development as a global priority was included in the World Conservation Strategy published by the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources in 1980. When was it first used or published? It was published by the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources in the year 1980. Okay. In 1982, United Nations World Charter for Nature raised 5 principles of conservation by which human conduct affecting the nature is to be guided and judged. In the year 1983, United Nations convened the World Commission on Environment and Development headed by Harlem Brundtland. That is why Brundtland report. The Commission released its report, that is Our Common Future, that is the name of the report, in 1987. Which came to be popularly known as Brundtland Report. Brundtland Report or Our Common Future report was launched in the year 1987. The sustainable development consists of 2 major concepts. The concept of needs, in particular the essential needs of the world, mainly focused on the essential needs of the world's poor, to which the overriding priority should be given, and the idea for the limitations imposed by the state of technology and social organization on environment's ability to meet the present and the future needs. So it focuses on the needs of the present and then future needs as well. At the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, that is UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which is also called as Earth Summit, the Earth Charter was published. During this summit, the Earth Charter was published. This outlines the building of adjustable, sustainable and peaceful global society in the 21st century. Agenda 21. It is very important for your prelims. It has been asked earlier as well. Agenda 21 is an action plan for sustainable development. Remember this, Agenda 21. What is the agenda? Agenda 21 is an action plan for sustainable development. Agenda 21 is an action plan for sustainable development. Okay. It identified information integration and participation as key building blocks to help countries to achieve the development that recognize these interdependent pillars. So it has identified information integration and participation as key building blocks to help countries to achieve development. Okay. Even though the concept of sustainable development first appears in 20th century, in fact, sustainable development had been a part of many human civilizations. In India, both Buddhism and Jainism supported sustainable development, emphasized on the minimal use of natural resources. In modern world, the idea of sustainable development has its roots in sustainable forest management, which was developed in Europe during 17th and 18th centuries. In his essay, Silva, that is Sylva, Silva, in his essay published in 1662, John Elwyn argued that the sowing and planting of trees have to be regarded as national duty in order to stop overexploitation of natural resources. So it has to be a national duty. That is, sowing and planting of trees has to be a national duty. Okay. Then Hans Carl von or Karlowitz, a mining expert, introduced the concept of sustainable use of forests in his book Sylvia Cultura Oeo Economica. So I'll spell it Sylvicultura, that is Sylvia Cultura, and then O Economica, that is Oeconomica. It was written by a mining expert. His name is Hans Karl von Karlowitz. HANS Hans, KARL Karl, BON von, KAR Karl, KRL Owitz, OVITZ. Okay. In his essay Economics of Coming Spaceship Earth, Kenneth O. Boulding explained the need for developmental models that preserve the nature resources. Henry David Thoreau, Aldo Leopold, and many others had emphasized the need for living on the minimal use of natural resources. In his book, A Sandy County Almanac, Aldo Leopold advised the people to live in harmony with the environment and do not destroy it. American author Rachel Carson published Silent Spring in 1962. Important, remember this. American author Rachel Carson, she published Silent Spring in the year 1962, which she tried to draw the attention to the relationship between economic growth and environmental degradation. In her book Silent Spring, Rachel Carson focused on the relationship between economic growth and environmental degradation, the relationship between both of them. This book highlighted the bad impacts of chemical pesticides like DDT on human and other organisms. DDT is mostly banned in almost all the countries. In 1972, the United Nations had convened United Nations Conference on Human Environment at Stockholm. Where is Stockholm? Stockholm is in Sweden. There in 1972, all of them came together under a conference that is called United Nations Conference on Human Environment. At this conference, a Stockholm Declaration was adopted by the member countries, which highlighted the need to frame tough environmental legislations. In India, Chipko movement that started in 1973 and the Uttaranchal Himalayas against cutting the trees can be considered as a pioneering movement, which also laid foundations for ideas of sustainable development. Yeah. Chipko movement started in the year 1973. Where it occurred in Uttaranchal in Himalayas. Where did the Epico movement occur? It occurred in Karnataka. It is similar. So they stopped then cutting of trees. Okay, what this laid the idea for sustainable development. Okay, now let's look at Club of Rome. The Club of Rome is an organization of individuals who share common concern for future of humanity and to strive to make a difference. The members are notable scientists, economists, businessmen, businesswomen, high-level civil servants, and former heads of the state around the world. Okay, this is a group of organization of individuals. Their efforts are supported by Secretariat in Winterthur, Switzerland. The European Research Center registered in Constance, Germany, and national associations in more than 30 countries. This is a group, you can imagine the size. They have associations in 30 countries. European Research Center supports them. There is a secretariat in Winterthur, Switzerland. Okay, the Club of Rome conducts research and hosts debates, conferences, lectures, high-level meetings, and events. The club also publishes a limited number of peer-reviewed reports to the Club of Rome. The most famous one was the Limits to Growth. That is a famous report from this Club of Rome. The Club of Rome's mission is to promote understanding of the global challenges facing humanity and to propose solutions through scientific analysis, communication, and advocacy. So they will understand the global challenges facing us, that is the humanity, and they'll propose solutions through scientific analysis, and then they'll communicate and advocate it and support it. Recognizing the interconnectedness of the today's global challenges, our distinct perspective is holistic, systematic, and long-term. A key idea in the Limits of Growth is the notion that if rate of resource use is increasing, the amount of reserves cannot be calculated by simply taking into the current known reserves and by dividing the current yearly usage, as it typically done to obtain a statistic index. So, the limits of growth mainly emphasized on the rate at which the resources are being depleted. Okay, now let's look at international efforts to achieve sustainability. United Nations and its branches from the beginning had been working very hard to preserve nature and its resources. Hence, the United Nations was consistently involved in promoting the sustainability through several charters and reports. For the first time in 1982, UN released the World Charter for Conservation of Nature. Later, the World Commission on Sustainable Development released the report on sustainability, Our Common Future, in 1987. Similarly, the World Ethic of Sustainability was framed by United Nations Environment Programme in the year 1990. World Ethics Sustainability was framed by the United Nations Environment Programme in the year 1990. Okay, let's look at this World Charter of Nature. The World Charter for Nature was proclaimed in the year 1982 by the United Nations, right? The charter is, what is it? It's a declaration of ethical and ecological principles for world community to follow. It is for the world, for people, for us to follow the ethical and ecological principles. It is not legally binding. The Charter for the Nature was an innovative document in its era. It was 10 years before the Earth Summit. The major principle of the Charter is the acknowledgement of relationship between environment and the development, particularly the ecosystems. So, the Charter mainly focuses on the relationship between the environment and development. The Charter urges the countries to preserve the biodiversity. The major objective of the Charter is to promote the principles of sustainable development and the conservation of natural habitats. It won't be shared responsibility for protecting the environment as well as preserving the nature at an international level. The Charter for Nature influenced many environmental treaties later on. So based on this charter, then based on the influence of this charter, many treaties have been signed in later in 21st centuries. Okay, now let's look at this World Ethic of Sustainability. Remember this as a story. In the year 1990, IUN, or that is International Union of Conservation of Nature, and Worldwide Fund of Nature and UNEP had jointly released a World Ethic of Sustainability. Okay, why? To achieve the sustainable development across the world. The work of these organizations mainly concentrated on developing the sustainable values among the various parts of the world. The ethics report, that is the World Ethic Report, suggested 8 different values to be followed for achieving sustainability. So it has proposed a value system, values which 8 different values that we need to follow to achieve sustainability. So let's look at these 8 values. The first one is the policy makers, general public, students and engineers should be made aware of the need for achieving and the sustainable development. So we should be made aware of the need to achieve sustainable development. Second value, the optimum utilization alone helps achieving sustainability. Hence, every person and an entity should strive hard for preventing the overutilization of resources. Third value, the World Ethic Report also wants every country to establish a database on the state and natural resources. Why we need the database? If you know the data, if you know what we have, we will use it efficiently, and we can track it as well. Okay. The fourth value, there is a need to enhance the information collection on every village, district and state and other such federal units of the country. Sixth value, community involvement should be encouraged for utilization and consumption of natural resources. Sixth value, dispute resolving mechanism, penalties for the violation of conservation law should be implemented without fail. 7. There is also a need to implement modern tools of science and technology in natural resources management. So modern tools of science and technology should be used in natural resources management. What is the 8th value? Efficient funding mechanism should be established for the consistent implementation of conservation policies of natural resources management. So this is the 8 values of the World Ethic Report of Sustainability. Okay, we have just seen what is sustainable development, and then we have talked about Club of Rome and the international efforts of sustainability, and finally we have discussed the 8 values given by the World Ethic Report. So with this, we'll end our today's lecture. If you have any doubts and queries, if you need any help, you can mail us to biasacademy@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.